Good morning, everybody. So, like so many other people, I, of course, took advantage of the Blick sale and grabbed some Sennelier colors that I didn't have. I actually only have a few of Sennelier's colors, but so far I actually like them and thought this was a good chance to grab a few more. I did look this morning and they still have some colors that I may go back and snag because I can't have enough paint. But I snagged some regular colors, and then I also snagged several of their iridescent colors because you guys know I'm a sucker for iridescent colors. So let's go ahead and get started. I am trying out a new microphone today, so hopefully that will make it a little easier to hear. The dogs are a little wound this morning, so they may be making noise. I don't know. All right, first up is Crimson Lake. I was painting something the other day and it called for Crimson Lake. I was like, I don't even know which color that is. And it was actually one I didn't have, which is, of course, unusual because I have a lot of paint. But this is a very nice, bright red color. Okay, I like this. We're going to just, I would almost call that like maybe a strawberry red or something. So this one only came in a smaller tube, which is fine. And then I grabbed this Rose Doré color. I have this in Winsor Newton, I believe, and really like it, but I don't know if it's the formula or if I got a bad tube. It's always very hard to use. It's very thick. I did actually add some gum arabic to it to see if it would help, and it only kind of did, so I don't know. All right, so let's see. The colors are different, but this one is definitely a lot smoother color. This is a warm color, whereas that the Crimson Lake comes off a lot cooler next to this one. Okay. So normally I kind of swatch these ahead of time and know what I'm getting, but I actually haven't done that. So in this case, it's all a surprise. Now, I do have a small tube of this Chinese orange color that I got on a recommendation from someone else and actually really liked it. So when the tube came up on the sale, the big tube, I decided to go ahead and snag it because I was almost out of my little tube. So this is just a really pretty orange that can go kind of a lot of different directions, but it's a really nice, I don't know if like fall orange, if that makes sense. You could probably use this in as a replacement for like quinacridone sienna. So I liked that orange a lot. And then I got the blue Sennelier, which I believe is just a phthalo blue, but we all know that I love my blues. So I did not write down the color numbers for you. I guess I should have, but let's see. There we go. I don't know. I kind of feel like that runs maybe a hair darker than what I have. You could probably get a good night or twilight sky out of that. Okay. Next is the phthalo turquoise, which is a mix of phthalo blue and phthalo green. And this definitely leans more towards the green. I have found with these turquoise mixes, boy, it varies a lot. They can skew a lot of different ways, and you end up with a lot of interesting colors out of them. All right, now we're going to move on to the iridescent colors. I have actually never used any of their iridescent colors. I have seen them when I would go to Jerry's, but it's not, I haven't, they came in a set there, and I was always tempted to grab it, and then I just never did. Let's see. Oh, okay. So it's not hugely iridescent. It's kind of a subtle, this would be like a good subtle iridescence for like snowy mountains or a water scene if you just kind of wanted to give it some glow up. This is kind of similar to the, oh, I don't want to misname it. I think it's the electric blue from Daniel Smith. Hold on, let's look. Handy dandy paint diary. So yeah, the iridescent electric blue, it's kind of similar to that. Looks like the electric blue may come in just a hair darker, but yeah, it's pretty similar to that one. We're just going to keep this handy in case we want to look at any of the others. All right, so that was the iridescent phthalo blue. This is going to be the iridescent light blue. And this looks like it's going to be similar to maybe the duochrome Cabo blue. So some of these I think need to be mixed up again. I'm not going to do that right this second. Yeah, that's what this one reminds me of. The duochrome Cabo blue. So this one again, it's not like in your face glittery or anything, but it's definitely got an iridescence to it that would do nicely in some water or a snowy scene. So I like that. And then I actually really like purple, so they had two purples to choose from. And of course I was like, oh, well, let's just get both. Why not? Paycheck. Who needs a paycheck? All right. So I find it funny that this one is listed as light purple and this one is just listed as purple, but the light purple has the darker label on it. So go figure. We're going to open this up. This. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, this is kind of pretty. So this actually is kind of similar to the Daniel Smith, let's see, iridescent sapphire, but theirs is a little bit of a duochrome that kind of skews a little purple to me, and this almost looks a little more blue compared to theirs. It's a pretty color though. This would be nice for like butterfly wings or dragonfly wings, fairy wings. That'd be cool. One day maybe I'll be able to draw such a thing. So I noticed that I assume it's mica in here, don't hold me to that, that's making the iridescence is a little more prominent in that one. And I'm kind of wondering how these are going to look when they dry too, because sometimes those iridescents and the changes, the micas and stuff, they don't really pop until the colors dry. So we'll see here. This is the iridescent purple versus this was the light purple, which again, I think somebody didn't label that very well because this is clearly a light purple. Okay. This is a nice, I would call this like a lilac, I guess. A nice shimmery lilac-y color. This would be really pretty if you were painting like, oh, wisteria. Oh yeah. Something like that. So when I still lived in Georgia, we used to get white wisteria on occasion. And it was funny because it would grow in sections instead of the purple. Yeah, this is, again, the mica in this actually shows up a lot better, I feel like, than some of the others. It's also a very pretty color. But I do still think that they have these completely mislabeled. But all right. And this is going to be the iridescent vermilion. So I kind of grabbed a rainbow of colors on the iridescence because why not? We're kind of escaping here. And okay, this is kind of an iridescent. I would call this like a strawberry color. It's not super red, it leans a little pinky. It's also pretty though. This is kind of similar to that Beam Rosehip color, and the iridescence in it actually pops a little better than the Beam paint. There we go, get that back in a little bit. So I am really behind on making swatch cards. I've gotten so many new paints lately, and I really need to get on it, and I just haven't been able to do it, but maybe I will make a video on swatch cards and kind of how I do it, and maybe somebody will find it useful. All right, this is the iridescent orange. Ooh. Ooh, that's a nice, pretty orange. I like that. So the mica in this is a gold. Gosh, I actually really like this one, guys. It's a really, really pretty color. Yeah. Mix some of that with your Chinese orange and you can have some really nice fall pumpkins. All right. It's our iridescent yellow. I don't know which way this one's going to lean. I'm suspecting maybe a little more of a gold yellow, but I don't know. We'll see. It's actually not as, I mean, it's definitely a golden yellow. It's not like a lemon yellow, or at least to me, but it is a pretty yellow. The iridescence is more subtle. And we're going to work on these, and then I'm going to shift it for the camera and hopefully get a good look at it. But it's also actually a pretty yellow. Also a really lovely fall yellow. Would be really pretty again for butterfly wings, like a swallowtail butterfly. That would be really pretty. All right, and so I was a little out of space and I didn't want to start a new page, so we're going to squeeze in this green. And this looks like it's going to be a little more teal-y, maybe. Okay. Don't need quite that much water. All right, so almost, it's not really a teal-y. It's more of a, well, I don't know what to call it. Sagey, minty color, maybe. Okay. So let me have a look here. So I was correct. It's a mica. And it doesn't really give you a pigment. It just says pigment mica on these, which is not entirely true because yes, it has mica, but that's clearly not the only pigment. But so I was correct that the iridescence is all mica. All right, so let's see. So the phthalo blue is iridescent, but it's definitely not as bright as some of these others. It's much more subtle. Again, not a bad color. It's actually pretty. But if you want one that's going to be like, wow, then one of these others will work. I actually end up really liking this vermilion. Maybe it's because I really liked that rosehip color. But that's a really pretty color. I can see myself actually buying more of that. I do really like this light purple, which again, I feel like they're a little mislabeled. Skews a little blue, which isn't a bad thing. The orange actually is really nice, and I really like it. So let's see here. Hopefully that iridescence shows up for you. And we can see that it's all shimmery and stuff. But so these were the Sennelier colors that I got, and we're gonna play with these and see what we come up with at a later date. But I just wanted to swatch them out for you so you could see them, and I hope you guys have a good day.